Tragedy has struck southern Kaduna once again. On Monday night, terrorists kidnapped an elderly woman in the southern Kaduna region of Kaduna State, barely 48 hours after killing her son and another person in Arak village, Sanga local government area. The horror of this story will leave you speechless. The woman has been identified as Mrs. Averik Arak, who was abducted alongside her granddaughter. The child's father, identified as Abila Averik, was killed on Saturday. The woman, who was mourning her son, killed in her presence, as well as his wife and daughter, is said to have been ill at the time the bandits returned on Monday night. Just imagine this for a moment. This elderly woman watched her son murdered right in front of her eyes. 2 days later, while she was sick and still mourning, these same killers returned to drag her away from his memorial alongside her innocent granddaughter. The scale of this crisis is absolutely devastating. In similar attacks in 2 other local government areas of Kauru and Kajuru, bandits kidnapped 15 villagers, mostly minors, from Ungwan Sakimaru in Kajuru. In Kadige village, Kauru Council, about 16 people were kidnapped and 1 person was killed. These are children we're talking about, innocent minors torn from their families. What's even more shocking is the numbers we're discovering. A source from Kadige village explained that over 100 of their kinsmen had been held captive by bandits between December 1, 2025 and January 4, 2026. Over 100 people from just one area held captive in barely a month. These communities are living in absolute terror. The violence hasn't stopped there. Just days before this latest tragedy, another horrific attack shook the region. Bandits killed 4 members of a family during a deadly overnight attack in Kacia town, southern Kaduna. The attack occurred late Friday night in Kacia near the newly established Federal University of Applied Science. The victims were identified as Mr. Bitros Bahago, his wife Mrs. Justina Bitros Bahago, their son, and another relative. Think about what's happening here. An entire family wiped out in one night. Parents and their children murdered in their own home near a federal university. These aren't remote areas we're talking about. These attacks are happening right next to major institutions. If you are watching this video right now, please hit that subscribe button and share this story. The world needs to know what's happening in southern Kaduna. These families need our voices. What makes this situation even more heartbreaking is the pattern we are seeing. These terrorists aren't just striking once and leaving. They are returning to the same communities, targeting the same families multiple times. Mrs. Averik Arak's story shows us this cruel reality. First, they killed her son, then they came back for her while she was mourning him. The silence from authorities makes this even worse. A source stated he would provide a breakdown from 7 surrounding villages in Kauru local government. He also lamented the media blackout of the resurgence of kidnappings and killings in their area. Communities are crying out for help, but their voices aren't being heard. There's a media blackout on their suffering. These aren't just statistics or numbers on a page. Every single person taken represents a family torn apart. The 15 minors kidnapped from Ongwan Sakimaru have parents who don't know if they will ever see their children again. The 16 people taken from Kadige village left behind families wondering if their loved ones are still alive. The terrorists are operating with complete impunity. They attack villages, kill residents, kidnap women and children, and then disappear into the forests. They return days later to the same communities, knowing there's no one to stop them. The people of southern Kaduna wake up every morning, not knowing if today will be the day terrorists come for them or their families. Think about Mrs. Averik Arak right now, an elderly, sick woman who just lost her son, now held captive by her granddaughter, by the same people who murdered him. What kind of evil does it take to kill a man in front of his mother, then return to kidnap that grieving mother while she is ill? This is the reality facing southern Kaduna. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We need to keep bringing attention to these stories. The people of southern Kaduna deserve to have their voices heard. The pattern of these attacks shows they are not random. The terrorists know exactly when and where to strike. They target the most vulnerable, the elderly, the sick, the children. They attack during mourning periods when families are gathered and grieving. They strike at night when communities are most defenseless. Over 100 people from Kadige village alone held captive in just over a month. 32 people kidnapped in these latest attacks, including an aged woman and children. 2 people killed in Arak village. 4 family members murdered in Kacia. These numbers represent real human beings with names, faces, dreams, and families who love them. The communities of southern Kaduna can't continue to face this alone. They need security, they need protection, and they need the world to know what's happening to them. Every day that passes without action means more families torn apart, more children orphaned, more elderly parents burying their children. Mrs. Averick Arak and her granddaughter are out there somewhere right now, held by terrorists. The 15 minors from Ungwan Sakimaru are missing their parents. The 16 people from Kadige village don't know if they will ever see home. These are the faces of southern Kaduna's ongoing nightmare. Share this video with everyone you know. Subscribe to stay updated on this developing situation. The people of southern Kaduna need us to be their voice. They need the world to see their suffering and demand action. How many more elderly women must be dragged from their sick beds? How many more children must be kidnapped? How many more families must be destroyed before something is done? The silence surrounding these attacks is deafening. While communities burn and families are destroyed, there's a media blackout on their suffering. But we won't be silent. We'll keep telling their stories, keep demanding justice, keep shining a light on what's happening in southern Kaduna. Mrs. Averick Arak's story isn't just one woman's tragedy. It represents the suffering of an entire region abandoned to face terror alone. Her son, Abila Averick, was killed on Saturday. By Monday, she and her granddaughter were kidnapped. This is the speed at which lives are being destroyed in southern Kaduna. Don't let their suffering be in vain. Subscribe, share, and keep watching. The people of southern Kaduna need to know they haven't been forgotten. They need the world to watch and demand action. How many more elderly women must be dragged from their sick beds? How many more children must be kidnapped? How many more families must be destroyed before something is done?